Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check. Oh, let's see. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Oh. All right. Hello, can you hear me?
Granny. Granny.
Go upstairs and use the bathroom. Thank you.
Hello? Oh.
Okay. Give me another pair of reading glasses.
How you doing?
Hi,
Hey. Who is I see Joyce.
Imani.
Oh,
Imani Holmes.
oh yes. Oh good. How you doing?
All right, how are you?
Oh, it's so pretty. I love this.
Well, last minute, I said, okay,
Oh,
I get a chance to read all this. So,
that's lovely. No, thank you. I'm so excited. So some of the other founding members, people said they were joining at different times, so it's not.
okay.
So it's all good. I'm just gonna, admit people as they come, and
Okay.
and we can just talk. I would just, love to hear again. I don't know if you watched any of the stuff that we've had on today. But
No, I haven't been able to. I'm like, my life is generally all over the place. And I usually have to watch everything in review time.
No, and that's good. So it'll all be on YouTube and everything, so.
Okay, cool thing.
But yeah,
All
just
right.
my goal when I set out to do this for the Harvest Fest was just to really like a storytelling project, right? So
Okay.
the opportunity to have you all as the founders to share your stories of everything that has happened over the past 15 years, what role you played in the beginning, and so that's been that was my goal. So
It was thank you. Well, let's say this first, Asante-san. Because you took me back in my memories, and brought joy, during that time period. That was a great time, and it's still a great, it's sort of catapulted a lot of things that I'm doing now, it's sort of sprung up just like planning, to the different things we're doing now. And helped me find myself. That's what it did, you know.
That's
So,
beautiful. Oh, thank you.
yeah. So I appreciate you and what's going on. And I have to come see the farm, and everyone's told me so many wonderful, wonderful things. So from those 8 plots grew a diamond,
Yes.
Oh my God, it grew a diamond, and it grew a culture. So
you all did it. You made it happen. I mean, so like, how could you have imagined that 15 years later it would be like we're getting ready to open or break ground on a cooperative grocery store?
yes, right. Those were our dreams, though. We would sit and go to retreats and sit away and say, one day we're gonna have a food co-op, or one day wouldn't it be cool if we had a store or a market, and we laugh. We were all middle aged, young, and whatever, and we laugh. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that. And now it's a reality, and it's beautiful.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. And a couple more people joined us, which is awesome. So Mama Catherine is here, I see. And Baba Michael or Azim. I think I was told that your name was also you also
Okay.
that name.
Hello, Catherine.
Hey,
Long time.
a long time.
Long time, my sister. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
It's
Good.
4 o'clock.
Good.
Oh, good. No, I'm glad, and I'm glad. I was just telling Mama Imani, I just wanted to bring you all together. Those of you who we didn't have time to do a video, and we had some videos that were streamed earlier, like Mama Abba and who else? Baba K Mensa, Baba Polk were able to kind of talk about some of their experience. But I just wanted to have a chance to bring you all together and so you guys could share your memories of the founding of the organization 15 years later. Like, could you have imagined that we'd be where we are? You know, all of that. So just that, and a couple more people I think said they were going to join, you know, during this time frame. But it's been my honor, really, just to, again, to hold space for you all and bring you all together to talk about all this. So thank you for being here.
Oh,
Absolutely.
continuing the dream.
Yeah. Oh, after the dream that you all started. Oh, yes. And okay, if Ebony is here, I'm gonna admit her. And is it Michael or Baba Azim? What would you prefer me to call you? Can you hear me? I see your hand, but I can't. Let's see.
I see.
Yeah, I see him. I don't know if there's. Hold on. If there's like a. Let me check.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Ebony.
Hey,
Girl, how are you?
good. We got Azim and we got Mommy Money and Mama Catherine. And hi, Erin. Mama Erin, I have never met you in person before.
Right, I know. I have a friend of mine named Jasmine Steele. She said she interviewed you at some. So anyway, so I haven't met you, but I heard great things about you from Jasmine.
Okay, all right, cool.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you all for being here. I was just Mommy talked a little bit about, you know, her reflections and that's all. I just wanted to give you guys space to, you know, chat about, gosh, like, again, did you ever consider that 15 years later, like this is where we would be, and memories from that time, and so and we can, you know, we can go person by person, or we can popcorn or what have you, but I just wanted to make sure to provide this space. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, no.
You just said 15 years. I'm like, oh my God. It's been 15 years?
Right.
Where has the time gone? Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Crazy.
Here, and then Baba and
Long
Nas
time.
coming too. Oh, good. And Baba Azim, can you hear us? I can see you, but I don't think you can hear. I don't think you can hear us. I think it's a problem. But and then Baba Anan, I think is joining us from Toronto.
Okay.
So that's exciting because he was, when I talked to him on the phone, he was telling me about, he was like, I was there during the pregnancy of the organization. I said, oh, I said, yes. I said, well, I definitely want to, you know, hear about that too.
Yes, African was definitely inspiration for us. Yeah.
Especially around the Food Policy Council.
Absolutely.
When we made the decision that there needed to be a Food Policy Council and what that would look like.
Absolutely. Yes, they were the model. I don't know. Can you hear us, Baba Anan?
Yes, I could hear you guys.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome.
I'm gonna have to call you back a little bit. I'm gonna turn my ringer off, okay? So I'll get back with you, all right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I was just wondering, how long had Toronto had a food policy council when you and Baba Malik started talking about one for Detroit?
I know that the Food Policy Council is older than 95 because the African Food Basket started in 95, and I think they were already functioning. I think it's one of the first food policy councils in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're going through some real challenges right now, you know, different government, different theology, and they kind of a little dormant right now, to tell the truth. And it have a, I like to say, a black revolution happening in it too, because the young people who involved right now wanting more from them. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting times, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have young people on the council itself, or they're just young people who are, you know, sort of pushing them to do stuff from the outside of the council?
I should say younger people, because they have a youth food policy council too.
Oh, okay.
And they have a lot of young Black youths on that food policy. Actually, one of the chairs is a Black youth who work with us with Black Food Sovereignty. And this is, I would say, the older younger people in relation to my age who on the food policy council right now, and they demanding accountability, you know, and you know, like white folks right now realizing they're waking up because so much happening, and they're realizing, you know, we got to get our act together, and the young people just in the face, you know, and it's pretty interesting for me to be in these times, observing as the younger people call me elder.
Yeah.
And I feel so young at heart. When they say elder, I wonder if it's who somebody else is speaking to.
I know. It's wild to think. We were just saying that I can't believe it's been 15 years for the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network.
Yes, and I'm
15
so proud.
years.
I'm so proud to be a part of this, to tell the truth. This is being in Detroit and doing work in Detroit is like a real highlight of my journey in these 26 years of the African Food Basket. Everybody's saying I need to write a book, and I know Detroit can be a very much integral part of the whole experience. You know, I really appreciate it. You know, Malik is like my brother from another mother, really close, even before the Food Basket and before the Detroit Community Food Security Network. We go back with music, you know, so
yeah.
So I have a long history, and even in food, the Gardening Angels. I don't know if you guys know about the Gardening Angels.
Oh yeah,
seniors. That for me was a good example of food security. You know, in the early like 97, 98, those sisters really inspire me. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about being involved in the formation of DBCFSN is you don't realize until you come to a time like this when you were reflecting 15 years later how magic that time was and how intense, and all the people that were involved in it, and all the work and heart and soul that went into coming up with what DBCFSN would be and what it would accomplish and how important it was. Because of course, we brought growing food and preparing foods the way we do. That's been a part of our heritage forever. But what at the time that the organization was formed, even though it was Black folks that were very much engaged and had been engaged in it for quite some time, the groups that had white leadership were the ones that were getting the funding and getting the attention. And, you know, I remember coming to the first meeting to talk about forming the organization. And I actually came with my city hat on. James Ribron had said, hey, you should come to this meeting. You know, my policy work was around urban agriculture with the city of Detroit, for those who are listening who may not know. And he said, you should come to this meeting. And I knew who Malik was, but I didn't know a lot about him. So I kind of came with my city hat, you know, to see, okay, well, what's going on? And, you know, how from a city policy perspective, can I support? And after that first meeting, I made the decision to come as Catherine Me, because I was so impressed with what the goals were, the people in the room, the passion that was in the room, and the need for Black leadership in Detroit to step up and step out. And how Malik handled all of that, because of course, you know, you get a room full of activists and you've got a lot of different opinions and a lot of places that people want to go. And he was so skillful at making sure that everyone was heard and respected, and able to manage some of the issues and conflicts that came up. I said, I want to be involved in this personally and professionally.
Yeah.
And I remember that first meeting. Ebony, you were
I
at the
do.
first meeting.
Absolutely. Yes. I actually remember it was February, I think it was February 5th. But it was a cold winter night in Detroit. And, you know, prior to that meeting, you know, of course, Baba Malik and I were talking and preparing for the meeting. And, you know, I don't know about him, but I certainly didn't expect the turnout that we got. I mean, it was standing room only.
Yeah.
I mean, the response was just humbling. And it was just so amazing to see so many Black folk come out on a dark, cold February night to talk about food and Black people and how we needed to take control. And you know, it amazed me because there were so many people from different walks of life. You know, you had your typical, you know, activists, you know, folk who had dreads and folk who came in, you know, dashikis and that, but then you just have regular everyday Black people. Yep. That, you know, either they're garden or they have, you know, that history in their families, and they, you know, or someone like you, Catherine, who came, you know, from the city, but you just had so many different people, lawyers, teachers. I mean, it just was amazing how many Black people were committed to this idea. And at that point, all it was an idea.
Yep.
And I don't remember now if it was at that first meeting or at a later meeting. Maybe it might have been the very next meeting when we talked about being, including Black in our name. It was very clear.
Second meeting.
It was a second meeting.
Second meeting.
We said it was absolutely necessary that we put Black in the name. And I know the name is really long, but it was important that we put Black in our name to distinguish us, not just to distinguish us from other organizations, but to be clear about who we were and what we were committed to. Because we, you know, of course, sometimes as organizations grow and evolve, you have other people that get involved, and it sometimes can move you away from your original mission and your original vision. And we were very clear, and I'm happy that we decided to do that, because as we see, as things have changed, you know, both locally and across the country, that, you know, we stand apart as one of those organizations that's still Black, unapologetically so. And I appreciate those who were in that room. And I know Malik was the main one fighting for us to have Black in our name.
I remember when I first came, I came with my friend Nefra, Marilyn Barber.
Mm-hmm.
And she approached me first, and she's like, Imani, we're going to have a community garden. We're going to do community work and feed the community and blah, blah. I said, okay, where? You know, she says, you already know about gardening, because I was gardening at home as a mother and a grandmother, though, but that was the extent of it. And my mother before then and grandmothers before then, but that was just in the neighborhood, because I was from Maplewood and Grand River, okay? And that's what we did to supplement our income and to supplement feeding our children. But she started saying, no, we're going to do this as a community. We're going to get together. We're going to do, I says, how? And where are we going to get the land? And she says, just come, because I've always been a skeptic, you know? And I says, okay, let's come. And when I came and I saw, like Ebony says, I mean, you were a baby, Jesus. Ebony was so young. And I saw so many people from, like you said, every walks of life. And it was self-minded and on the same wavelength, you know? And I was like, this could be something good, you know, because I had really just meant to come and see what was happening and go. But after that, I was committed, you know, like totally committed. As the time progressed, I call it gorilla, when we decided to gorilla that land on McClendon Street,
Mhm.
those 8 plots, and do our early lasagna planting with the paper and the this and the that. And to see it flourish and get the community involved, because we didn't have access to water. And to see the community say, hook up our lines, we would take water hoses from different neighbors out to that garden and work. And Saturday mornings used to be so cold, but it was such a rush and such an idea that we were doing something. And that first harvest, I'll never forget it. There were people coming that I didn't even know knew we existed. And they walked through there and saw the beauty of what happened and what we were doing. I said, this has got to go on forever. I never thought 15 years. I still can't believe that was 15 years ago. It's like yesterday. But I would talk to my granddaughter. She's 21 now. She used to be in the garden at 2 and 3 and 4, you know, carrying the cases. Because like I said, we didn't have water. And she says, oh my gosh, she says, it's been that long. So you used to haul us out to grow. And I'm like, yeah, it has. And to see what it's become, you know, I've been on the back, a lot of things have happened within my lifetime. And I've been watching and seen it grow, and it's just so proud. You know, there are those of us who aren't here on this planet anymore, who I know are smiling like Charity, you know, are smiling and thankful for
Yeah.
what expired. And then
And Mama Jackie. She's
Mama
one of the first.
Jackie and
Mhm.
and to hear having a co-op, a market, all of this, it was a dream. You know, it was a dream, and it's became a reality. So I feel like I said, I told you earlier before it even came, you woke up a lot of memories for me, and I appreciate that. You know, and it's good to see you guys as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baba Azim, I think you had your hand up earlier. I don't know. Can you hear us? And do you want to chime in? I definitely want to hear from you also, but I don't know about your audio. And can you hear us? And then we did do, if you watch the opening ceremony video, if you all haven't already, watch it on our YouTube site, because we did some reflections on those ancestral founding members, right? So
Okay.
Baba Al, Baba Kadiri, Mama Jackie, Mama Charity, and Baba Kalindi, right? So we did do like a little, you know, what we call ancestor reverence, right? So lifting up those who are no longer with us, but were an integral part at the founding as well. So, you know, always wanting to call them in and thank them too for all of their contributions with you all.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and take a look at that.
Oh yeah, please do. You know, it's been a joy kind of putting it together. But again, I'm so glad that you guys are here. Just listen to you guys talk about like that first meeting. Wasn't that at Black Star Bookstore?
Yep, it was a Black Star Community Bookstore on Livernois.
Yeah.
19410 Livernois.
Black Star Bookstore. I remember that store so well.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's the first meeting, but I was invited to do the keynote at, I think was the first meeting, and it made me feel real good that to see the evolution, because I often told Malik before the group started, I said, man, anytime I come here, white folks controlling this, I come in with white folks, you know what I mean? They are the folks who I'm linked with, and this city have over 80% people are African American. Something is not right here, you know. And when I came to that first meeting, I think as Catherine was explaining, the folks who was at that meeting, I was blown away, because the history of Toronto and the history of Detroit is two different history of people of African descent. People in Detroit is a more older community, older African, people of African descent community to Toronto, and a number of folks. So when I was in that room, when I hear folks introduce themselves, I feel so honored to be in that room to talk about the work that we were doing in the African food basket, and the need for Detroit for, for lack of a better word, sovereignty. For us to
Mhm.
run our own show, because, I mean, I come and I got an invitation and, and just a few white folks, and when I come, I gotta be moved around by white folks. I said to myself, this doesn't feel right, So when I come in the room, that first meeting, I feel so honored to be like, they were chefs, they were different professionals, people who,
Mhm.
trust me, I could have never get a room like that in Toronto. I'd get a
Mm.
section of folks, but not people who have the history of and being involved in the variety of industry and interests, Yeah, and I was at the Black Star Fruits bookstore.
So would you all say that was maybe like one of the biggest challenges was kind of like what Mama Catherine was saying, like if there were other white groups doing this work, but you all weren't really getting any like support or funding or anything like that. Would you say like that was one of the biggest challenges, or what were some of the biggest challenges that were overcome, right? Like over the past 15 years. And of course there've been a lot, right? But we'd love to hear about just the stories of triumph, right? The things that you all were able to come together and transcend. Because I mean, ultimately, that's why we're here, why we're still here now.
Well, one of
Yeah.
the things was coming to have the farm. I mean, how many times did where we were planting have to move until we finally got that land in Rouge Park? Was it 3 different locations before?
And we had 2 other locations before Rouge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was
We were basically leasing the land, even though we weren't paying them for the use of the land. It wasn't ours, and we were not able to stay as long as we would have liked, because it wasn't our land.
And the first one, it was all of a sudden after the first harvest, there was urban renewal, and an investor bought that property to put up apartment buildings.
Mhm.
Right after that. So it was too much. It was a lot. And basically I found in the beginning wasn't not the funding or what have you. It was the whole idea of keeping it a Black leadership.
Yep.
Yep. They were constantly trying to find ways. I'll just say it bluntly. I don't know if there's a polite way of saying it, to take it away from the leadership, that it was a Black leadership at that time. And it was something that we were doing as far as food sovereignty. And that was a main issue as well, leadership. Because if you always find, if there's something that we're doing organized, there's another culture that'll come along and try to control that. So there was a lot of that put in there as well, but like Catherine, there was some warriors there saying, no, this is how it's going to be done, and it got did, so.
When we started out, there was always the intent of, obviously growing the food to sell to our people and to, to the community. And so that was a huge part of the funding model from the beginning. Of course, we knew we needed grant funds to do other programmatic things, like the Food Warriors. But we, of course, one of the things we needed was our 501c3. So I was the person who took the lead on that application and pulled together all the materials. And Baba Malik had already done like a proposal for the organization in terms of what the vision was with the Food Warriors program and, all the things we wanted to do. And so I took that and, we submitted the 501c3 application. And so once we did that, it allowed us to seek grant funding. Obviously, as you mentioned, at that point, we were kind of new to the scene. So the expectation that somebody would give us millions of dollars, we weren't expecting that. And I think at the beginning, without, having, the right things in place. But obviously, there still was an equity in terms of, even once we got established, there was an equity in terms of what we were getting and what other organizations were getting.
And I also have to give a shout out to Mama Joanne Watson, who was on city council at the time, because she was very instrumental in bringing the organization and council resolution supporting both the organization and the formation of a food policy council. And she was very unapologetic about it. So she also deserves recognition for helping the organization both to be established, but also to be recognized right away in an official way by city government. And the support from her, as well as Kwame Kenyatta, was very important to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I want to say, Mama Catherine, I can't remember if you were instrumental in us getting the Rouge Park land. Were you a part of that negotiation with the city?
I wasn't an integral part of it, but wherever I could come into a meeting or, exert influence, make sure that voices were heard, that's what I did. Because I think that was with, because part of that land was Greening, I think, Greening of Detroit.
I don't think they were occupying any of that. I know it used to be a tree nursery, but I don't think that it was anyone else on that land. But after the tree nursery.
I thought I remembered that part of that land was Greening of Detroit, but perhaps not.
And maybe I might have it wrong.
They were doing something with the trees on the other side.
Oh yeah, maybe it was with the trees somewhere else on the, yep, you're right, Catherine.
But there was, it seemed to me that part of the negotiation was that some of the land that Greening wanted, they were going to have to give up.
Yeah, I remember now.
For the farm. So yeah, I remember that being a part of the negotiation.
Were they just growing regular trees? What were they doing? Because I know it was some trees, but I can remember if it was fruit trees or just regular trees.
Regular trees they were using, trying to do the elms again and the neighborhood trees, and really they were,
Okay.
Fruit trees or anything, to do with sustainability. They were just growing trees, trying to get the umbrella again back, and nothing really. They just wanted part of that land as well.
Papa Azim, how you doing? How's your audio?
Guys, I love you all. I'm so happy to see you.
Yes.
I gotta go. I have a meeting, another meeting that I have to attend to, and I'm gonna have to let you all go. But this has been wow.
Just
so much.
Imani, I think, I don't mean to cut you off. I think Mama Nefera just joined. So I don't know if you want to say hi before you go. That's all. But her audio is coming in. I
then I can say, hey. An hour later, it doesn't matter, but I can. But it'd be good to see her as well. But I'm late for this meeting, which I promised these sisters that I would be there, and I'm going to have to leave you all.
All right, good to see you, Mama.
I love you, baby.
Very good to see
all right,
you.
love you too.
I miss you.
Yes, miss you too.
You enjoying Cali Bay?
I'm loving it.
I know you are.
Yeah.
I loved it then too.
It's 85 degrees today and
That's
sunny.
what I'm talking about. Well, it's not here.
Maybe about half of that.
But I'm gonna let you guys go.
Okay. Have a good rest of your day.
And I love you all. I love you.
Thank you.
Here. Peace.
Peace. All right. Well, thank you to Mama Imani for joining. And yeah, I see Mama Nefera is the audio. We're just trying to get her audio. But And then Baba Azim, how's your audio? I can see you, which is great, but I want to hear you. No, hold on. Let me try to unmute you. I see you're talking, but I can't. I might be able to unmute you though. Hold on. Cause I know Zoom is a lot sometimes. Here, I can do this. I don't know why I can't. I thought I could unmute you, but maybe I can't. In any event, so no, this is, and then, oh, here, wait. Oh, there you go. Here, talk and let's see if we can hear you, Baba Azim. Oh, now you're frozen. Maybe sometimes if you turn off your camera, it works, like,
Yeah.
the audio is bad. I know I have to do that sometimes. But again, I'm glad. And Baba Azim, if you want to put anything in the chat, I can read it out. You know. I'm sorry about the audio piece. But I'm glad that some of you who are here. I'm sorry, Mama Ebony, I saw you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, my son was talking.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, that's me all day. It's like, they're like, I can't hear you. I'm like, nope, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my child in the background. So I'm trying to think while we have the rest of you here. Just you know, oh wait, okay, I think we lost some folks, but any other, you know, good stories that you all have, you know, exciting moments. Again, there are some other folks that said they were going to try to join too. So, oh wait, okay, I think Baba Azim is trying to join from a computer or something. So
I just wanted to add on the land that we farmed on Cascade. I don't know if people know that we literally was full of rocks. And before we could plant anything in the ground, we literally had to go by hand and pick up God knows how many rocks. We brought kids out there. Like, we literally had to pick out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little rocks, not big rocks, like little bitty rocks, in order for us to be, because on the first land that Mommy Monty spoke about, we did the lasagna method. So that's of course above the land, above ground. And so the land on Cascade was our first time planting in the ground, but we had to do all that sort of remediation before we could even plant anything in the ground. That was also the location where we had our very first harvest festival. So we were founded, you know, two years, I think, no, a year before we actually had our very first harvest festival. And it was actually me and Mama Charity that co-chaired that festival that first year, and for a few years together after that. But yeah, I remember going, you know, when we were planning the Harvest Festival, you know, me and Charity and some others, we had flyers and we went door to door in the community surrounding Cascade. And of course, Harvest Festival is for the larger Black community, but we always want to make sure that whatever community we're in, we want the residents, our neighbors that we share that space with, to be present and to enjoy and experience that as well, and to kind of take ownership of it. So we did door to door many days, trying to, you know, make people aware that we were having this harvest festival. And, you know, that was our first, like, I remember that first year on McClellan. I think one of the reasons why, because I mean, we literally met in February and we were planting by May. Like, had started that. And that, you think about it, wasn't, you know, that many months before we got to work, right? And so I remember us talking about, maybe I don't know if we talked about it as a group, but I know I remember thinking that this first opportunity to work together was kind of our way of kind of feeling each other out, figuring out how this is going to work. It was kind of like a pilot, if you know what I mean. So that was our way of kind of figuring out, you know, who's who, because some people had worked together before in different capacities. Obviously, I had been working with Baba Malik for a number of years, and Baba Malik knows a lot of people, so he had worked with other people before. But this was kind of our way as a new organization to kind of dive in, get our feet wet, figure out the dynamics of our group, and also for me, I was still learning how to garden. So for a number of people, they were excited about the idea of it, but everyone didn't necessarily have the experience. So we were all kind of learning together. Like I wasn't even familiar with the lasagna method. I didn't even know you could grow like that. You know what I mean? So, and we had a nice harvest. We planted corn, but I think the corn got infected with some disease, but we planted corn. We planted a lot and kind of, tried a few things to see how things would grow and to test out the lasagna method, which I don't think any one of us had tried before. I think someone else had suggested we do that, but I don't know if anyone had tried it before. So yeah, I think that first summer was really instrumental because it really laid the foundation for the much bigger land that we ended up, farming on at Cascade. And then obviously even much bigger at Rouge Park. But yeah, we were sort of taking kind of, baby steps to the size of what we have today.
I was so surprised to find out that Mama Abba was not a beekeeper before you guys started, and she was like, well, we need a beekeeper, and she went to a class and became
boy.
Baba Azim, is that you? I can hear you, I think. That's good. But yeah, just so many, I feel like so many of you have those stories of things that you didn't do, but you can't, the farm needed it. And so it was like, well, I'm going to do this. And just, that spirit of kind of, taking on whatever needs to be done to move the needle forward. I mean, I guess, when I look back at all of your stories, I mean, that's something really inspirational that I draw from it. Is just that everybody didn't have it all figured out, but
right.
You all just kind of stepped in and did what you needed to do to keep it moving to the next, to the next thing. Baba Azim, can you hear me, or can I hear you? I guess is the question. Can you say something? I heard you for a second. I was really excited because I want to hear what you have to say too. But yeah, any of those other any other things you all have that you didn't do before D-Town started that you started doing? Well, not D-Town, but DBCFSN.
Well, I was the first treasurer of the Food Security Network. And I don't think I had ever served as treasurer before. And I'm not an accountant and don't have an accounting background. But again, it was a need. Whenever you're dealing with money, you need somebody you can trust. And so I was trusted. And so I was the treasurer for a number of years. So that's not directly related to the farming piece, but that was certainly one thing. And then, we also, because I don't know what other founders may have said, in the videos that they did. But I also want to shout out, there was a crew of us who got together. I know Azim was having some audio issues. I can't remember what year that was. And Catherine, I don't know if you were there that year, but we did a weekend long retreat, a strategic planning retreat. Do you remember that?
Do you remember where
it was? Outside of Detroit at like a monastery or something, but it was some religious, location that had dormitories and a cafeteria.
No, I wasn't there.
Yeah, so it was a small group of us, but it was, quite a few of the founders. And I can't remember if it was that first year because we did it like during Kwanzaa. I believe it was like the first couple of days of Kwanzaa, whatever that weekend was. Because I remember us celebrating Kwanzaa one of the nights that we were there. And so, yeah, so that was our very first strategic planning retreat. And that's when we laid out kind of all the things, what our goals were, timeline. So the food security policy, the food, warriors, like everything, we were laid it out in terms of goals and timeline and budget. And that sort of laid the groundwork for the work that came later. And that was like in a really intensive process. We were there, I think we came in on like a Friday and we stayed there until Sunday and we didn't leave, like nobody left. We were literally there. We spent part of the day, I think Friday, and then all day on that Saturday. in a room. Yeah, it was amazing. And we did that a couple of times. We didn't do that location again, but we did do our strategic planning retreats as a group a couple times over the next few years.
That's good.
One of the ways that I contributed in the beginning, and Ebony, you will remember this, all the research that went into the policy.
Oh yeah.
And the different aspects of the policy, and everybody took a specific subject area, a specific aspect, a specific goal, did a lot of research and wrote it up. And what I did is I took what everybody wrote and rewrote it into so that it would have one voice and sound like, you know, one coherent policy that we put forward. And the last part of that policy was saying the formation of a food policy council, and that there would be these different seats in different sectors of the community. And I think all along, and it's still the case, DBCFSN has always done things with intent, and also measuring what goes forward against what that intent is and against what the values are, and being very mindful to not stray from that intent. Because I think you may have said, Mama Erin, how different organizations, or maybe it was you, Mama Ebony, about how they can sway over the years, can kind of get away from what they originally were. And I have definitely, one of my things is helping to birth organizations. And I have seen some of the organizations that I've helped birth really change over time, and evolve, and not necessarily in a good way.
Right.
You start out as being very intentional and community minded, and particularly when money comes into the equation, sometimes there's a drift from the original values of the organization. And I found DBCFSN has stayed on point.
Yes, I must say, I've been an external observer of not just DBCSN, but the movement of Black food sovereignty. In those days, we said Black food security. I think we wiser now and realize we were practicing Black food sovereignty. And I know, Ebony, you spoke about the name, and Malik insisting that Black should be in it. I think that was very foundational, because at that time in America, the only organization that had something to do with Black, with the Black Farmers and Agriculturalists Association. I think they're from North or South Carolina, and they started in '97. And the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network moved through whole of the US as a leadership of Black food sovereignty. It was Black food security. Before that, you couldn't find groups having, even Black groups, using Black in the name or African in the name. And the network moved through, and in about 4 or 5 years, the word was around that Black folks in urban areas are involved in food security. And due to the leadership of the board and Malik, the institution really got around in America and influenced a lot of groups that you find coming after, because right now there's so much Black groups involved in food security now. I give thanks to see that in Canada, and more so in America. And there was a leadership, you know. There's so many folks who want to write about what's happening in Detroit, and the network was definitely the leader. Although they had a lot of white institutions before, the network is what got Black folks going.
Yeah.
That is why the concept of sovereignty is so critical to the work that we do. We have to own it, because the existing system with some white folks who may have good intention, they really don't know how to navigate the development of Black food sovereignty. Give them the respect what they do, but we have to do for self. And the network has cultivated that. I know Malik come from an African-centered school, and as Catherine was saying, the institution stayed African-centered, and that was critical to be an example for many of the new groups that started to get involved in food security work and now food sovereignty. So, 15 years is something that we got to celebrate for sure,
Yeah.
Baba Azim, I think I heard some audio on your end.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
If you all knew what I've been going through with this technology, and it was before me being able to connect. I've been dealing with issues with Sprint, T-Mobile for the last 2 days.
Oh, okay.
And right now, I was getting ready to sign to just get out of it. I'm just so damn frustrated dealing with. But anyway, what's happening, everyone? It's been madness. It's been pure madness.
Well, I'm sorry. Yes, we can hear you. And I'm sorry, I do have to go, but thank you so much, Aaron, for organizing this. And it was great to reminisce with you all. Great to see you, Baba Anan, Baba Azim, Mama Catherine. And you all have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you all.
All righty.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for pursuing it, Aaron, and making sure, trying to make sure that everybody had a chance to give voice.
Yes, absolutely.
Much respect.
We'll make sure that we, get everybody on record. But I wanted to have this opportunity. I'm so glad that y'all were able to join. Baba Azim, I'm staying on with you because I do want to hear from you because I know folks got to go, but I want to make sure that I hear from you because I know you stuck it out and you've been dealing with some audio things. And Baba Anan, I'm so glad that you joined from Toronto. I don't know if you got to go, but I think so. Anyway, Baba Azim, I haven't met you before. But I'd love to hear about your he just left. Oh goodness. Well,
yes. So okay, Aaron.
Thank you, Bob.
Glad to be part of this. It's historic being involved in some level with the Detroit Black Community Food Security Network. So thank you for hosting us.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. Bye. Thank you. All right, Baba Azim, if you're still there, I'm still here. I gotta do another Zoom in a few minutes, but I wanted to, if you're there and you can share your role in the early days of the organization, I want to hear it. But even if not, we can work something else out, and so we can get you on video.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. And sometimes try leaving your video off. Sometimes if you leave your video off, the audio fixes itself. I don't know why. But
well, the thing is that I have this replacement phone, which is a dud. I've had this phone with lemons.
And I can hear you now, but your audio is garbled, which is very unfortunate. So here's
Sister, can we just be better? I was going to say, maybe we'll get together and we'll do something else to get my take, because I'm having problems and I'm experiencing it right now.
Right. Yeah. No. And I have to jump off too. So that actually sounds perfect. So I will be in contact with you so that we can do a video talking about your memories and recollections, because I want to make sure that we hear that.
Now, let me ask you a question. Did you get that information that I sent you about contacting Matrope and Melinda Hodges?
I did. I didn't get to contact them today, but again, so I'll make sure that this is not the last time that we're doing this, because I want to make sure that all of you, during this 15th anniversary year, get the opportunity to, to share your recollections and your stories, and that we have those as we're moving forward with the organization, right? Like, we have to know where we've been in order to know where we're going. So absolutely. So thank you for that information. And I will definitely be in touch with you. Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you're saying. But
I'll talk to you later, okay?
Yes, sounds good. Thank you. Thanks for trying to,
All right,
I really appreciate you being here. And
yeah, I've been trying, I've been on since 4 o'clock. I've been seeing you all, but yeah, it's just been crazy, and I've been consistently working with it and just going through this madness and this frustration, but it's been this way since I've had this crazy.
Mama Nephara, is that you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. How are you doing?
I lost you.
Oh, good. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. We have a few minutes left before I have to, but I wanted to make sure. So we had, okay. I think it was what, Mama Catherine, Mama Ebony, Baba Azim, Baba Anand, and gosh, I think there was somebody else that were on, just talking about, their early recollections of their time on the farm. And I know I've been told, I've never met you personally, but I've been told you were the first farm manager. So of course I wanted to just hear about that. Again, this is also kind of like a storytelling project. So I just want everyone to, share the stories that they remember from, 15 years ago. And just any reflections that you have on where we are now.
Well, good evening. I'm sorry, I'm just joining. We've come a long ways. I have to say, we've made a lot of progress in 15 years, and it seems almost like maybe last year, I wouldn't say yesterday, but it seems like it was just maybe about a year or so ago. Like, where does time go? When we first started on the east side, and we had a lot that we started growing on, and we started so late in the season that we didn't have time to dig. We did raised beds, but the beds were so small, they looked like little grave sites. They were, and in some ways it was kind of good because people didn't bother. They thought it was maybe a grave, and so they didn't bother our vegetables and things at the beginning. But when they found out there was food there, then they started pillaging. But it was really great, starting early in the morning and working until we just got tired, gave out. And I think I just missed Azim.
Yeah, he was having some audio issues. So I definitely want to do this again because it was a great conversation, and he was just having some audio issues like the whole time. I felt so badly. So we're gonna do this. We'll do this again so we can gather folks. I want to make sure that everyone who was a part of what DBCFSN has become, has a chance to reflect on that and like what you guys did and how important it is. I think Mama Catherine, she said, what did she say? It was like, she was just saying, you don't realize until you're at the 15-year anniversary celebration that how like magical and important the things that we were doing then really were, right? And so we want to make sure that we're acknowledging that, because that's huge. We wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for folks like you who would, come together to do the work.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Catherine. I know I never thought, looking back on what we did, it was just something that I felt that it was innately something that we had to do. It was like when we went before city council, I think that was the first time I ever went to city council, before city council, and I was so nervous. But I weathered through that. With the food policy council, and I remember the grueling hours that we spent working on the policy and starting the food policy council. those meetings that we had, because, you know, it was something that we had to do, because it wasn't just for us, but it's for tomorrow. It's for the people that come behind us. And yeah, looking back on that, I was like, wow, we did that, you know. So, and I feel that it's still important that we know that we are in control of where our food comes from and the knowledge of growing for self. And like, well, 15 years ago, we were talking about Detroit being a food desert and all that stuff like that. And now it's almost like the world is becoming a food desert, where there's you go to grocery stores. We have grocery stores in our neighborhoods now, but the shelves are empty. And it's like a shortage of food. And when you do find food, it's so expensive. So the ability to grow our own food is so important now more than ever.
No, absolutely. And the other, I have to work, this is a part of the Harvest Fest, right? The virtual Harvest Fest. And I have to, we're here, take the phone, talk to her. And of the Zoom that I'm gonna get on now, hey, stop, because I'm talking and she can't hear. Is one of the organizations that the DBCFSN is a part of is the Detroit Black Farmer Land Fund. And we have intentionally been raising funds to help Black farmers in Detroit purchase the land that they've been growing on, right? Recognizing that so many people grow on land that they can't afford to buy, right? But so they're like, they know, again, they have that innate thing, that innate knowledge, like I can grow for self. This is something that I can do for myself and my community. And so we're actually getting the opportunity with, along with Oakland Avenue Urban Farm and Keep Growing Detroit, to fund that and to like fund those dreams, right? And to fund getting people, you know, the opportunity to grow on their own terms and on their own land. So so this is, you know, it's so nice to meet you, even though it's virtually.
Right.
And I'm glad, and I have your information because I'd love for us to, like I said, continue this conversation.
Okay.
And
Would love to.
again, get some of the other founders together with you. Just having more than one of you together, it's beautiful. Just seeing the memories and hearing the stories. It's really powerful, and I think we need to make sure that we're documenting these things.
Exactly.
Because you guys have done fantastic work, and it's a great blueprint for us all moving forward. So thank you for joining. And I'm sorry, I knew you were having some connection problems earlier, so I apologize. Oh, that's just my daughter, sorry. Hey, why? But I do have to jump off so I can facilitate this last panel for the Harvest Fest. I really appreciate you being here. And like I said, I will be in touch so that we can do this again.
Please do.
Okay.
All right then.
All right. You have a good one.
You do the same.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.